everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to talk about a few things with The Walking Dead. There's actually a new interview with Lauren Cohen in which she talks about Dead City Season 2, so I want to break down what she has to say and talk a little bit about the world of Dead City Season 2 because Gimple teases something that's actually kind of exciting. So yeah, I want to break that down and also talk about a new Rick Grimes figure that we actually have for, I guess, Rick Grimes from The Ones Who Live, and honestly, it looks absolutely incredible. Like, this is one of the things that I was really hoping that they were going to do with the spinoffs, which was, you know, I guess action figures and whatnot for, I guess, the show, because for the last, like, I don't know, however many seasons of The Walking Dead, you know, like, there was the Commonwealth, right? It would have been really cool to see a Commonwealth soldier. There was the Whisperers and stuff. Like, there was a lot of things that I felt like they just kind of missed. There was a lot of figures in the very beginning from, like, seasons 1, 2, 3, kind of, I would say that season 4 and 5, you know, there was a lot around then. Like, there was a lot of figures for a lot of the characters around that time. But, you know, towards the later seasons, there wasn't really a lot. But with the spin-offs, obviously they have all these new deals and stuff now, and so we're actually getting a lot of figures here. There's a lot for Dead City and Daryl Dixon, and now The Ones Who Live. We finally have Rick Grimes as a CRM soldier, so I really cannot wait to get this. So I want to get into some of the details with this. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. But let's actually just start with that. So I'm seeing this here from bleedingcool.com, and they're actually talking about the new figure here that dropped from Haya Toys, I believe is how you pronounce it. Yeah, we do see Rick Grimes here. The figure is a 1/18th scale figure, I guess, and is apparently supposed to be coming out in the Q2 of 2025 and is priced at $24.99. I'm guessing that's in US, and so yeah, really incredible. Apparently it's going to be coming with a rifle, pistol, axe, and a variety of different hands and all of that. So I think that's really awesome. Honestly, I think when I get this figure, I will do a unboxing. I actually want to do a unboxing of the other figures, so I'm gonna go look up and see if they're actually available yet, because I haven't really seen anything, but I haven't also tried to look for like any of the figures for like Dead City or Daryl Dixon, because I know for Dead City there was a Negan one, and I believe a Walker King one, and then for Daryl Dixon there was the Super Walker. I knew we were getting that, and then there's one of Daryl. Yeah, I don't remember all of them, but I do want to collect all of them, and I'll do an unboxing video and sort of break down everything with that, because yeah, obviously really cool. I think what's awesome about this Rick Grimes figure actually is the fact that it looks so much like Rick Grimes from The Ones Who Live. Like, honestly, I've seen a lot of Rick figures in general throughout the years, and they're not always done the best, and this just looks absolutely incredible. So I'm excited to get this. Apparently this is coming out in the Q2 of 2025, so that's around like what, I guess April, May, June, somewhere around there of 2025. Luckily around the time Dead City is actually going to be coming out, so that should be really exciting. I do wonder what other figures they're going to be announcing at some point here. And in terms of Andrew Lincoln, you know, there hasn't really been an update. I haven't done any sort of video on like Andrew Lincoln and what's been going on and whatnot for quite some time, but obviously I think he's still filming Coldwater. I think that series, like, it has to be close to being done filming at this point, because they started in the summertime at some point, and it's only going to be 6 episodes. I think it is just like a limited series where it's just one season. It's going to be this story that is kind of a thriller in some sense. Like, I'm really interested in it. I am going to watch it and I will review it, but you know, in terms of filming, like, they've been filming for quite a few months now, so I imagine that at some point here they are going to be done. Like, maybe it's this month or next month or like in January, but I don't see it taking that long to film just 6 episodes. So they're probably really close to being done filming here, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, what Andrew Lincoln does next, if it's going to be another TV show, if it's going to be a movie. Like, it's one of those things where, you know, he doesn't really do a lot of movies. Like, I'm looking at a lot of stuff that he's done over the last however many years since he left The Walking Dead, like however many years ago, and you know, obviously he did Penguin Bloom. I really liked that. He did something with, it was a Netflix show, but he just did 1 episode, which I watched, and it was really interesting. But yeah, then obviously he comes back and does The Ones Who Live. I know he did like a theater play or whatever you would call it, like with I think it was some like holiday thing or whatever a couple of years ago, and then obviously he did The Ones Who Live. So he hasn't really done a lot over the last however many years, but that was sort of the point of why he left The Walking Dead, was he wanted to focus more on family and stuff, right? So I guess he would do things here and there, but for the most part he just wanted to spend time with family, which is just absolutely amazing, right? Really great. And so he came back to do The Ones Who Live, and now he's doing this show here called Coldwater. He did something else beforehand too, like this podcast series, which was really cool, and I just look forward to seeing what, you know, other work he's going to be doing. Like, you know, that at some point he is going to return as Rick Grimes. Like, that is going to happen at some point. It's just that, when. And that's exactly sort of what he said, was like, he's really open to coming back. There's other characters he would like to see Rick reunite with, but he doesn't know when. And then later on, he talked about, what he would like to do with Rick Grimes more specifically in terms of a story and stuff. And I think a lot of us have talked about that quite a bit, which is, it's exciting. I think doing a survival horror story for the show again would be really amazing, because it's something that was really missing from The Ones Who Live. I think what we got was definitely good for the story, good for the reunion with Michonne, for Rick reuniting with his family again. I think it definitely, that was the show for that. But we do want that survival horror, storytelling for Rick Grimes, because that's absolutely what makes the character incredible. So I can't wait to see him come back at some point in the future to learn more details, on what's happening there. And I wonder if we're going to learn more details. I mean, at this point, honestly, most likely in 2025, which is what I was expecting overall. I wasn't expecting any sort of Rick Grimes or Michonne news really at all this year. In my head, I'm thinking Comic-Con of 2025. I'm not expecting an announcement of, all right, we're doing this new series or something, but maybe just an update or talking about it, right? Because I think that's one thing that we're all just waiting for, is where are they going next? And you got to remember, they did set up something here with Laurent going back to America, right? And that's something that will connect to what I want to talk about with Dead City here, but they are going to slowly start to connect everything here from season to season as, the world starts to build out a little bit more, and you start to make connections to Alexandria and the Commonwealth, because that is sort of what they're doing here. Lauren Cohen actually did an interview. As Lauren Cohen, Gimple was there, and the actor who plays the Marshal from Dead City. But they actually talk about the fact that, first of all, she is directing episodes 2 or 6. It's one of those episodes, which I'm really looking forward to. And then Gimple also talks about learning more about the world. And he said that for Dead City Season 2, we are going to be learning a lot more about the world and stuff, and sort of expanding on a lot of that, which is something that I am really excited about, because I would say that is actually something that we're missing right now. Because yes, in Daryl Dixon, we are learning more about what's happening on the other side of the world in France, and in season 3 it's going to be in Spain, and I guess sort of in the UK a little bit, or I guess London, right? So I think it's going to be really amazing to learn all of that. But I'm also really looking at it in terms of, the most interesting and exciting story is the overall story, and what's happening with the Commonwealth and Alexandria and all of that. And so making any connections to that is what's going to be really amazing. And it's kind of hard to do that with a show like Daryl Dixon, right? Because that show is set so far away that it's really hard to make any kind of connection, which I think is why Laurent going back to the Commonwealth was so exciting. Honestly, that's probably the most exciting part of the season overall, was the fact that Laurent is likely going to be meeting Rick Grimes, right? That's probably already happened by the end of the finale, because once he gets there, around that time, Rick and Michonne are going to get there. Maybe it doesn't happen right away. I don't know the exact timeline. Maybe he first gets there and Rick and Michonne aren't there yet, but they get there within a month or a couple of weeks or something, or maybe they're already there, right? We don't know the timeline, but they're basically going to meet. That is set up for the future. We don't know when it's going to happen, but that is set up for the future. And so for Dead City, that show is also going to start to build up a lot of this excitement for this Endgame series as well. We could learn a lot more about characters at the Commonwealth, and also what happened to the Hilltop, because I think we know what happened overall, but there's also we kind of need the confirmation as well, because we saw them trying to rebuild, and then what happened? Maybe they just couldn't really rebuild and it just wasn't working out. So, they had to leave. Maybe it was the Commonwealth and some of the rules they had. I know that, because Pamela Milton wasn't the leader anymore, that a lot of things were going to change, but maybe it wasn't fully, the original Hilltop and what Maggie wanted. So that's why she left, because the Commonwealth, maybe they never really left Alexandria or the Hilltop alone. And so we'll have to wait and see. I think that, yeah, they are probably a part of the Commonwealth overall. They share resources. And so there's likely going to be rules, I'm sure. And Maggie likely left for that reason. But I would like to actually learn a lot more details there, learn more of the backstory behind the bricks and New Babylon, and how that connects overall with, the Commonwealth and all the other communities there, like the CRM. Are they around, And I think building up the world like that would be really cool, because that is something that Dead City can actually do. You can actually make connections with other characters like Morgan, Dwight, and other characters from The Walking Dead, because they're literally so close to each other, right? Whereas I think with Daryl Dixon, it's kind of impossible to do that. So I'm really excited about that. You know, the actor who plays the Marshal, actually, he talks about having scenes with Kim Coates, which was really cool. He's playing Bruegel, obviously, this season, and apparently the character is just absolutely terrifying. And so I'm excited about that. I do think is going to be a really great villain. I would say The Walking Dead, like Madame Genet was a great villain, but I think we are in need of a really just great, like, terrifying villain, and I think that Bruegel will most likely be that. So I'm excited. You know, I think The Walking Dead's in a really great place right now. I do think that after the finale of season 2, watching the trailer for Dead City Season 2, we can really build up from here, and I think making more connections and building up to that Endgame series, which I would say Season 2 did by the finale. Like, I wasn't really expecting that, but Laurent going back to the Commonwealth is a really big deal, and really you just have to look at it like, well, I guess the first seasons of these shows were really just to sort of establish the worlds, establish the characters, and the second season is going to be really expanding on that a lot more and sort of making those connections. And so I really look forward to season 2 of Dead City. I imagine that they're probably going to do the same exact thing. And what's that going to mean overall, right? So, yeah, I'm excited for that. So definitely post your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.